Hey everybody, Marty Sleevey here alongside Chris Carl. Chris, we're in Las Vegas.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you can tell because there's a Sony thing behind us. We're at
Indeed.
CES 2015. We're here live at the show. This is like the pre-show, day zero. Sony just held a press conference that we streamed on IGN.com as well. Chris, a big thing that they kicked off with was about the interview, about the film.
Yeah.
So what did they really sort of lead with?
Well, it was interesting because it was a question going into this conference, how they're going to address it, and they kicked
It's the
it
white
off.
elephant. Yeah.
They were like,
or the elephant in the room, not the white elephant. That's where you give presents.
Yeah,
that's a
something
completely
totally
different thing.
The first thing they mentioned was the interview, and they talked about its success. But more than that, they build it as kind of a triumph for freedom of expression. They painted the hackers as extortionists and criminals.
That's amazing. So they literally use the word extortionist.
Yeah, they said extortionists' efforts.
Ah, that's so good.
They directly addressed it. You know, they sort of like said that their employees and former employees and all these people have kind of been through hell as a result of the hack. But thanked the fans. I thought that was kind of cool. They thanked the fans for sticking with it and bringing it to now I think 580 screens. And it had a really good opening on VOD as well.
Yeah, I mean it was record-setting on VOD. And the 500 screens thing is really interesting because we had that time right before Christmas where we weren't sure. It was like everyone's pulling out. It's not gonna be at AMC. It's not gonna be at Regal. But then all of a sudden, these little theaters, like you have George R. Martin saying, I want to show it in my theater. Michael Moore wants to show it in his theater.
I think there's a sort of groundswell of support for we're going to go out and support this if it goes to screens, and this was Sony's response to it. I think they were saying, hey, it made it to screens. Thank you for voicing it. They were kind of we did another video about this, but they were in a rock between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah,
there.
Absolutely.
The exhibitors weren't going to show it.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to respond to the threat because it could incite a global incident.
Yeah, and it's always the tough thing of whether do you actually give them the oxygen, because that's what these people like this hackers crave is the attention and the oxygen, or do you just try to smother it by remaining silent? But at a certain point when as producers and actors and directors are getting kind of called out and tarnished because of what they thought were private emails, that's eventually you have to actually come up and say something.
And it was a worldwide event, this whole thing, and it was in the end it's probably a good result because I think they came out of the other side of it and feel good about it. And they said in the speech, we're all about freedom of expression. Yeah. And this is the end result of it. It was a rocky road to get there. It was really interesting that they kicked off CES this way. Yeah. But I kind of think they had to.
Yeah, I think that was rad. Obviously, that was a reactionary move for the big events of the last month. But that was just how CES started. We're going to have so much more from the Sony conference, from the show itself all week. So everything Sony and CES and extortionists. We're going to have a lot of top 5 extortionists. You're already in the right place. IGN.com.